Greetings, everybody. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Surviving the Aftermath, which originally streamed live on Twitch. And there we go. 4 more houses, and that is my current priority. And then here's Erica.
Ready.
And Erica, I'm going to send to the museum to collect science. So the things to note here is her AP, or action points. She can move up to 7 spots. So
yes,
this is 1, 2, 3, 4 away.
okay.
And her research gathering rate is 350 science points per 12 hours. And this museum provides 500 science. So in 24 hours, she will be done with this museum. Then I'm going to have Spicy Jazz start to scout. And we are going to scout west.
Got it.
And then I'll have Fangface, who is a specialized scavenger. Fangface is going to start to scavenge basic clothing. This campsite has 15 basic clothing to scavenge. This campsite is safe. When I find an unsafe campsite, I will show you what that means. So now all 3 of my specialists are on the world map doing tasks for me. When you're on the world map like this, time pauses. It won't progress. And there we go. Built the gate into the world. Day 3. Another thing to note is you get new actions when this clock here goes all the way around for a new day. And the tooltips are telling me to explore my surroundings, which I will not do yet because I want the tents for my new homeless people. Because if they stay homeless, there's going to be a hit to happiness. Considerable happiness. Sleeping on the ground and being homeless is a hit to welfare. So, not keep them that way. One more minute for the raffle, so if you want the new specialist named after you. I also get a new specialist in 8 days, or 4 days rather, but I'll have to pay for them. Which you'll see what that looks like when I get it. Alright, it's also telling me that I should build a warehouse storage site to store tools and medicine. That's honestly not that necessary really early on because your campsite has a huge amount of capacity for it. Newfie, thanks for the bits. Kadath, thanks for gifting out with Petrable as well. I have not been keeping up on my activity feed. I apologize. There's just so much to explain on a sort of tutorial-esque series. But cheers to you. Thank you. And if you're a sub, you're eligible for this raffle. Boop. The biggest, Nate. All right, Nate.
Huh? How may I help you?
How do I...
Huh?
I might not be able to rename you until you come back home. But, noted that you have won. I'm not sure I can rename you, though, yet. So right now I have 2 scientists, which is kind of not ideal, but there's another way to use your specialists. It does consume them, but I'll show you that in a bit. So now that I am starting to get science, we have had 12 hours. Well, I can't even put 12 fingers up. I am not irradiated enough for that. But now that we have some time has elapsed, we can access the research tree. So there's 5 trees here. There's the food tree, the resource tree, the infrastructure tree, the community tree, and the safety tree. Generally speaking, on the hardest difficulty, I rush medical training in the safety tree. But before I even start to queue up research, what I want to do is I want to show you some... Okay, here we go. This research, the upscale tents, is a result of our ideology. We have the survivalist ideology, And upscaled tents reduces the happiness penalty of tents and communal tents. So that's going to be a really nice research to get rather early on so that people are happier with the basic tents that they have. But like I said, the first thing I really want to do is rush the Guardians nursing and medical training, because you can be hit by a lot of medical emergencies early on, and it's important not to be ill prepared for that, or your population dies off rather quickly. The raffle is indeed for subs only. So the first thing that we're going to get is Guardians. Guardians allows you to upgrade a scouting post into a guard post, and it is immune to pollution, and the people that work there are better armed if you have the weapons to arm them. And Petrable, thanks for gifting out to Ratty Patty, so they're eligible for the next raffle. The moment you select a research, it cannot be refunded. So if I hit reset queue here, you'll see that I only have 250 science points, not the 350 that I have, because I've already spent the 100 science points to start doing Guardians. But that means that I'm not required to spend the projects that are later down in the queue, which is good. But I do want medical training, so I'm going to do that anyway. So that's the research tree, and I'll explain. And once I get like the very baseline amount of research that I feel like I need to survive on the hardest difficulty, I'm going to start to let you guys vote on next research. But I can't do that really early on, because if you voted something that wasn't, if you voted for something that wasn't all that needed, I would just die. Like water pipes. I don't need water pipes early on. I don't use water early on. So if you voted for water pipes, it would be a bit of a waste, and I would perish as a result. So once we have all of the new tents built, I'm actually going to get a second medical tent. Because we have, actually, so this is the last tent. Okay, all the resources have been delivered to that tent. So let me go queue up a second medical tent and queue up a second outhouse. Oops, not a third. All right, it's a new day here.
Your command?
Nope, they're still working. So the next thing I'm probably going to build, let me update my current priority, is support the growing hop. I'm going to be adding a fishing pier. We want a fishing pier that is 100% efficient or near 100% efficient. So this is 100% efficiency. That'll work for me. And that will keep people better fed. But as you can see, the amount of food that I have has been going up, even though it reads as I am producing far less than I'm consuming. Because of some of the manual hunting that I've been doing, we have plenty of food. Plenty of food. Here's the second medical tent, and they're getting the outhouse now. So if we already have the resource for the outhouse and the medical tent, let's go ahead and set ourselves up with a scout tower. So it's ideal to build scout towers probably closest to the edge of your known radius, but also keeping in mind that you might want a dirt path out there, because your scouting towers are manned by people, and if you don't have a path out to it, it's going to be difficult for whoever works there to man the station properly. So there's a dirt path out to the scout tower, and some scout towers that sort of enclose the back of your base is very, very useful when you get attacked from behind. Especially when they become guard towers, which we'll be unlocking in literally seconds. Now, with that said, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't actually matter if I wait for the Guardians to finish researching, because you can't build a guard tower straight away. You have to build a scout tower and then upgrade it to a guard tower. So there's the medical tent. But I'm going to fire the clinician working in there because I don't need the medical tent right now.
Made a new discovery.
I just might want it later on. So there we go. I made the discovery of a guard tower. Here, I can put the guard tower there. I lied. We'll just build it straight to guard. Even though it's more expensive, this is probably going to be a permanent guard tower because I don't suspect that my colony will expand sort of beyond this back pond, and it will keep it better protected. Although it does nearly double the cost, so, you know, you got to prioritize your resources. Another thing I wanted to do is to get this water well. Let's actually build this one next, because I want to free up the person that is working at the water collector so they can do other things. And it's a brand new day, and I have specialists ready for action. Let's get out here.
Mission complete.
So Spicy Jazz has scouted this next zone, and here is a salvage spot that is dangerous. So the hazard is radiation, and it will cause 10 damage per hour, or 10 damage every 12 hours, and I have 80 hit points. So these types of zones here allow you to build outposts. So this is hangars that I cannot travel to for research. You have to build an outpost, and I'll show you that later on once I have access to metal. This zone, unfortunately, is a big water pond. I think what I'm going to do is to have Spicy Jazz continue scouting for me.
Going.
So he's going to go northwest and scout the next zone over. Fangface finished salvaging this camping site for 15 clothing. And I'm going to have Fangface go to the tool site and get those tools, and then the biggest Nate, who is currently named Erica, finished with the museum, and now this museum spot has no more science left, so it is not worth anything, and I'm going to have Erica go back home so I could name her properly.
Uh-huh. All right.
Okay, the biggest is all that fits. Nate... I'm gonna call you Big Nate. How's that?
Huh?
That's better.
Yes.
And then let's kick Big Nate back out to the world then. And you, Big Nate, will go southeast.
Okay.
So what I'm scouting for initially is medical supplies. We are going to want iodine pills, antibiotics, and medicine really early on to stave the sort of catastrophic events the catastrophes and the like that can happen to our colony. So the hardest difficulty is very, very, very necessary to try to find those salvage spots early on so that you do not fall victim to it. What is this? Berries? Is there any... let me give the pollution overlay. Okay, so there's no pollution around this fertile soil. Good. That means that I can build my water wells wherever I want and not have to worry about irradiation. Because, yeah, you don't want radiated water. A hydrate. Cheers. And Harry, thanks for the resub.
There's a new quest available.
A new quest. So...
The dead rats are considered to be more of a nuisance than an actual threat to well-defended colonies. However, their numbers have recently begun to rise at an alarming rate.
So, you don't have to do every quest, but you're given the option to do these quests. Generally, it involves using your specialists on the overland map to do challenging tasks for some sort of resource benefit. So I can either liberate the farms or just say, you know what, I don't care about rats. Good riddance. And looks to me like we're going to accept it. So thank you for voting so quickly. I know they're flash polls. And I have
Dead
to now
rats
liberate the
are
farm.
considered to be more.
So if we go out to the world map here. Oh! They're pirate rats. Okay, so I have raiders to fight now. Or bandits to fight. And there are multiple little bandit camps around the world here that I need to clear out. Now, there's definitely a safety in numbers, so I'm not going to immediately stop what I'm doing. Defeat the rats is my current priority. I'm not going to immediately stop what I'm doing because I want my specialists to complete their current tasks. But then, once they complete their tasks, I will converge upon one of these rat camps and slay them. Do some rat stomping. So my fishing pier is coming together, which is good. That will help with food. And we can furlough the water collector because my water income is high enough that we don't need them. This scout tower is, or guard post I should say, is getting funded. One thing to note is I am relatively low on wood, so let me start to think about how to gain wood more quickly, which is a logging camp, or rather a lumberyard. So a lumberyard allows you to cut down trees for wood, and I'm going to put the... Another important thing to note is this here is fertile soil. If I go to the soil fertility, I don't want to build a lumberyard where there is fertile soil, because fertile soil is useful for farming. So I'm going to build my lumberyard. It fits perfectly here, but it's kind of close to this radiation source. I'm going to put it here, sort of in the front walkway. It'll be out of the way. K. Mayville, thank you for the resub. And the fishing pier is done. Let's hire 2 people in the fishing pier, and they will be making fish for me. I'm not going to have production limits on food. I highly doubt that I will fill my stock room up on food. It would require hundreds of more food than I currently have, so I'm not worried about that. And then
We made a new discovery.
Okay, so we just got nurses. Nurses allows us to employ 2 people per medical tent instead of 1. Doubling, or I don't know if it actually doubles the efficiency, but it adds to the efficiency of processing patients. And now we're going with medical training, which increases the healing speed, which is, in my opinion, pretty important. The lumberyard is out of wood. So one of the ways for me to get wood would be to have my carriers work to gather wood at the wood remains. So that's how we're going to get it. And then once I have the lumberyard built, I will queue up a forester to be able to replace the wood that we're cutting down. Oh boy. All right. New priority. Prepare for fallout. Yep. So this is the first catastrophe that we're going to be facing. It is nuclear fallout. So nuclear fallout will heavily irradiate your population, creating a lot of radiation sickness in your colony. If you don't treat the radiation sickness with iodine pills or with medicine, you die. And any crops in open farm fields will also die, but I don't have any farm fields, so that is not a threat. So, yep. Let's go, well, we'll stay yellow for now. I have about a day and change to prepare for this. And unfortunately for me, I have not found any sources of iodine pills out on the world map. My scouts are still scouting. I do start with 5 medicine and 6 iodine pills, but this might be a little rough. Fortunately, I am prepared a bit because I have 2 medical tents, which can employ up to 4 people, and I am in the process of researching medical training, which should be done by the time this nuclear fallout hits, which allows me to heal people more quickly. So I do have a bit of a stacked deck to be able to deal with this first event. And there we go. It's a new day.
Mission complete.
And, ooh, Big Nate found a source of iodine pills, which she is going to work to scavenge. There are 24 iodine pills in this decaying house. She also found another observatory which is basically the same thing as a hangar. This observatory gives 25 science per 12 hours, whereas this hangar only gives 15. And then also a bandit camp that is protecting tools.
Yes?
I think what I'm going to do is cancel Fangface's current mission
Aborting
to
mission.
scavenge the tools so that I can
Moving.
survey the adjacent tile for more radiation medicine. Because this is going to get a little rough. Another thing to note is the people working in the fishing pier will be furloughed when the radiation rains happen, because you can't fish during radiation rains. You also cannot collect water from the water collector during radiation rains. All the more reason why I'm relying on underground water from the water wells. So get water wells early on, because if you're relying all on the water collectors, they will not be operable during radiation rains. They'll shut down and you'll die. You'll die real bad. So here's the warning about catastrophes. When a catastrophe draws near, you need to prepare. For example, burners to keep your shelters warm during winter storms, outhouses raises colonist immunity, and medical tents heal various conditions. Wouldn't be a terrible idea for me to add on an outhouse, as long as I'm currently not... Yeah. Well, I don't really have the wood at the moment, so I'm going to hold off. What about water storage? So your campgrounds here store water by default. They store up to 300 water. So I have water in storage already. I have 300 water. I'm already maxed up on storage. Oh, you got a parasite. Nothing like good old Giardia. Do the specialists need to bring stuff back home? They do, yes. Now there's a way to build an outpost for a collection point, but that's probably not something I'm even going to use in this stream, because it's like really only useful super late game. Oh, and we have just depleted this plastic site, and I'll explain what that means in just a second. But I'm going to change their work from this plastic site over to the new one. So there is 7,731 underground plastic here, which I can mine later on with a plastic extractor. And it has a richness of 59%, which is medium or so. It's not high, but it's pretty good. The plastic extractor is a resource research way the heck down here. So it's not something I'm going to be using for a while. And then another thing to say about this, I can build on this as well. If I don't intend to mine it later on, like if I don't feel I need it, you can treat this as just ground. You don't necessarily have to respect that it is a node underground. So once I fully mine up this plastic, I can then sort of judge which one is more rich between the two and just build on top of the other one. And there we go. Medical training is done. So now I have healing speed 20%. And my next research... I'm going to have you pick the category, I think, not the individual research. So we have got food, resources, infrastructure, community, and safety. So let me pull for that. Food, resources, infrastructure, community, safety. All right, there you go. And I'll take some time on this one. But let me explain the choices here. So if food, we would get skinning. Skinning allows your trapper to become a hunter to produce fibers in order to make clothing later on. If you chose resources, that would give us centralized repairs, which gives us a maintenance depot, which helps to maintain damaged buildings. It also leads to metal scavenging, which is a significant resource that we need later on. Infrastructure gives water pipes, which allows you to supply water to buildings, but I don't have any buildings that require water. Buildings that require water would be something like a cookhouse requires water, being able to cook meals later on. A community would give me bunk beds, which can allow me to build tents which would be crowded, but then it also leads to upscaled tents, which reduces the happiness penalty to my tents. So if I get bunk beds, I'm probably not going to use crowded tents because it makes people unhappy, and on hard difficulty, you don't want to make them unhappy because they'll just leave your community and you'll be dead in the water. And then the safety would lead to frontier outposts, allowing me to set up outposts out here to be able to acquire like science passively or whatever else. There's other types of passive resources to gather. And yeah, the choice is yours. Nice. Efficiency 100%. Like it. And the lumberyard is coming along. So obviously one of the things we don't want to do is cut down any of these trees from the lumberyard, or we'll absolutely tank the trapper's efficiency, which is not good. Add one more outhouse. All right, let's employ people to cut down these trees. So I want to cut down these trees primarily because this is where I farm. So instead of knocking down the trees, because if you build something like where trees are, it will just automatically knock the trees over and you won't get the benefit of the wood. I want to cut these trees so that I can free up the zone for later on. And I'm going to have a tiebreaker between resources and community. Because they were the top two choices. Let's do another timer here. And I'm going to start to set up a second medical tent because already 2 people are infected, and that is only going to go up as the nuclear fallout closes upon us. So just so that you know, the tiebreaker is between resources, which is centralized repairs, which leads to metal scavenging, which is a very essential research to build metal buildings, and then also allows you to upgrade your recycler and upgrade your scrapper for metal, or you're voting on community, which would be better beds to keep people happier. But that would require 2. They both would require like 2 investments. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat it like double.
Mission complete.
All right, Fangface found a source of medicine and a source of antibiotics. Now, I'm not going to need antibiotics for a nuclear fallout, but I am going to want medicine.
Right
so I'm going to have Fangface head to the medicine. There's 27 medicine in those crumbling houses.
How may I help?
And Big Nate has collected 6 of the iodine pills at a rate of 6 per hour. So I'm going to leave Big Nate to continue to collect.
Mission
And then
complete.
Spicy Jazz scouted here and found more medicine. And also found science museum.
My
And I'm going to
pleasure.
have Spicy Jazz head to the science museum to gain some extra science so that we can unlock more stuff. And the game is telling me to go kill some bandits, which during a nuclear storm, I don't think I'm going to do. Okay, the guard post is done. The guard post will immediately automatically employ 1 guard, and then this will slowly start to scout out to this range. So you can actually see the circle of maximized scouting that will be added once he's done. So I'm going to keep him employed here until the scouting is complete. Spicy, spicy. Oh, tiebreakers. Okay, so here's the nuclear fallout. We're going to go with red now because people are going to be dying. I'll try not to have anyone die, but we'll see. Looks like resources won by a hair. So I'm going to queue up. Centralized repairs to metal scavenging. Centralized repairs isn't all that... it's not that helpful to have like a maintenance depot. So it automatically repairs and decontaminates in a small radius where you designate the work area. So it's useful if you, let's say, have if you have farmland that's next to a pollution site, you can set up a maintenance depot to automatically decontaminate the farms without having to do it manually. It just saves you some micromanagement. That's basically what a maintenance depot does, is saves you some micromanagement. But it does lead to metal scavenging, which gives you this scrapper, gives you the ability to start salvaging metal out of the map tile. And I do have a metal site already found. I have this metal site here, and this scout tower, or this guard tower rather, probably going to find some other metal sites. Another thing to note is as this guard tower expands its radius, it's very possible that there's hostile fauna that I have not yet discovered, which will be discovered soon, so we got to be careful about that. And as people get sick here, well, currently they're getting infected, which is just weird during a nuclear radiation. But as they get additionally more sick, I might furlough some workers that are working in the lumberyard or recycler and put them to work in the medical tents so that we can make sure that everybody is being treated. So as soon as I have, let's say, 4 people sick, I'll probably start doing that. That would be the threshold, I would say. And if they do die, we're going to want a burial pit. Now, burial pit causes some pollution. As you can see, the last part of that tooltip is creates pollution. So we're going to want to put that somewhere where it's not going to pollute the ground, much like we did with the outhouses. Someone's yelling.
A visibly upset colonist is trampling around in circles, cheeks red from shouting, and eyes feverishly scanning the area around the stockpile.
Hey, Tumbling. You come just in time for a vote. I was playing Kerbal today. We're playing some Surviving the Aftermath, which is a post-apocalyptic strategic colony survivor. And you get to vote. So we have a mysterious crate. A colonist is visibly upset, and he dropped a crate of food, and he thinks someone stole it or something. So, alright, we're going to search for it. Good choice, guys. We got 8 corn and 15 happiness. Happiness is always really nice to have, even more than the food itself, I'd say. So, here as you can see, we got lucky with that event, so it's registered as luck 22. So all 22 people in the colony are temporarily a little happy due to the luck offsetting the fact that they have poor housing. Not bad, guys, not bad. You lacked explosions. You went to the Mun and Duna on a single rocket? Wow, that is that's high skill, dude. Congrats. Oh, you know what? I was wrong about the fishing pier. They're still working during this radiation, but the water collector is disabled by the disaster. Either I misremembered or they changed it in the 1.0 release. Either way, the fishing pier still works, which is cool. Now, I do know that the fishing pier deactivates during a winter storm, unless you have ice fishing or a burner to heat it. That much I know, unless they change that too. I hope they didn't. And this nuclear fallout will last for a few days. And if we take a look at the pollution overlay, as you can see, everything on the map is becoming increasingly irradiated. It's just bleeding radiation everywhere. And as the radiation gets deeper and deeper and deeper, more people are going to become irradiated and will need medical attention. And my iodine pills, which I only have 6 of, very finite amount. I may send Big Nate back in about an hour or 2 with the 12 iodine pills that she has grabbed, and then send her back out yet again. Because time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. Alright, so it's a new day now.
What's up?
You are Fangface. You are going to go to the crumbling houses.
All right.
Get medicine from the crumbling houses.
Yep.
at 6 per hour.
What's up?
Spicy Jazz, you're going to go to the museum for us. Get us some extra science. This will only take 12 hours because there's only 201 science points here, and he gets 250 per hour because he's a scientist. And actually, Big Nate is even better scientist. Big Nate gets 350 per hour.
Shoot.
How may I help you?
And then she now has 12 iodine pills, has harvested half of the ones from this house, but I'm going to cut her salvage short
Okay.
so that she can bring it home. And what you'll see when she comes home here is my iodine pills will take a minute to update. But as soon as she walks kind of like towards the general stockpile, you'll see that number pop back up to adding the 12 that she acquired.
We've reached a milestone.
Come on. There it goes. So now she's at 14. That means she's handed over her iodine pills, and I'm going to send her back out to the map tile, the world map, to go collect more. I also just finished researching centralized repairs, which gives me the maintenance depot. But like I said, the maintenance depot just helps reduce the amount of micromanagement, so it's not something I need to build immediately. But we're going to continue researching the metal scavenging. And that used almost all of the last amount of research that I had. And then Big Nate should be able to run... Oh, okay, so I can't quite get to the decaying houses in the next 12 hours, but after 12 more hours, she'll be back to getting iodine pills. But I think it was very, very important that we deliver the iodine pills that she salvaged, because she brought home 12, and we've used up all but 2 of what we had in our stockpile. And 10 of my colonists are now irradiated, so let's furlough some of the recyclers to employ additional doctors, trying to bring the irradiated numbers down so that no one dies. Oh, no one dies. That would be nice. Losing people really early game is harsh because early game it's very hard to keep your people happy, which means the fertility rate is very low, so the people that you lose are... It feels like a catastrophic loss when that happens early game. And we did just get Reclaimed Knowledge, unlock 5 techs. To hit a little bit more colony prestige. And this is just like a score rating for like how well you're doing. So if we take a look at the pollution overlay, looking very purple. Don't look so good. Well, there's another metal scrap that I would not have known about had it not been for this guard post. And we made it through it. And as you can see, the amount that are irradiated is down from a peak of like 10 or 12 to like 2 or 3. So very necessary to scale up the medical tents. If I didn't have these medical tents, we probably would be looking at fatalities. Yeah, likely we averted fatalities by having, by the research that I made. So our initial research into medical training and nurses kept people alive. So good job me, I guess. But now that we don't have so many irradiated sick people, I can employ them back into the plastic recycler. And with the wood and plastic that I have, let's start investing in nice things to have. So getting a warehouse would be nice. A warehouse stores... No, I'm actually not going to worry about a warehouse just yet. Let's put some more tents in, though. So I'm going to want to place my tents where the tents fall within the darker orange radius here. So we'll put a tent here and here, and this is just so that if I recruit some more people, I can house them. And these houses fall technically under the radius, so they'll be heated by the burner. kill the rats is now the priority. And I'll start working on that in just a second. Let's get rid of the red light. So Big Nate.
All right.
I'm actually going to have Big Nate pivot to start to work on clearing out the rats with Jazz. So Jazz finished scavenging the museum, got us some science points, and I'll have you guys vote in just a second on how I use those science points. And Big Nate and Jazz are going to converge on one of these rat farms to kill them out. Another thing I want to ask is next research. So let me write this up. So we're getting metal scavenging now, so we'll have the choice of food. I forgot to save this, so I have to retype it, sorry. Resources. Infrastructure. Community. And safety. Alrighty. So vote on how I spend it. And the choices, I'll actually explain the choices to you. So if you vote food, we're going to get skinning so that we can start hunting for fibers to make clothing. If you vote resources, we're going to get handicraft to unlock, or actually we'll probably get the advanced recycler and the advanced scrapper to be able to scrap metal and acquire plastic faster, and then eventually leading to crowbars to do it even faster. If you vote infrastructure, it would be water pipes. If you vote community, it would be the upscale tents. If you vote safety, it would be the frontier outposts. Up to you. In about 1 day's time, I'm going to have the opportunity to recruit a specialist that comes to the front gate. I'm not going to start the raffle just yet because you guys might not actually want the specialist that shows up. So there's multiple specialist types. There are scouts, which are best at scouting new territory, scavengers, which scavenge nodes, scientists, which research, and fighters, which fight. So those are the 4 classes. And right now we have 2 scientists and a scavenger, so we're missing scouts and we're missing fighters. So I'm hoping that we're offered to recruit a fighter or scout. Ideally a fighter. Metal scavenging just got done. And let's build one. I'm going to put a scrapper. Is there... Let me see. Pollution. Okay, there's no pollution around here. So I'm going to put a scrapper right here. Because this scrapper is going to get this metal. So I have this metal node, and then I also have this metal node down there. But I'm just sort of guessing there's more metal yet to be scouted up this way. This is probably a better place for my scrapper. Cheers. Ooh, I'm almost out of coffee. That was like the last sip. It's gonna make a grown man cry. Oh, colonist is under attack. So here is an example of... This guard, not so good. So here's an enormous bear that is going to completely stomp the guard that I have employed here. Run, guy, run! What I'm going to try to do, because I can control my guards individually... Actually, he's kind of winning. So I'm going to let him keep fighting. Oh, God. Are these children delivering the stuff? No, you just look like children. You can win! Now, if I didn't have a guard tower here, the people that are trying to set up the scrapper probably would have been shredded by that bear. Because my guard is better equipped with a crossbow, whereas the regular people would have had to hand-to-hand combat that bear, and it would have been a bad, bad scene. But that's the first hostile fauna that we've cleared out so far. And that's what it looks like. That's one of the harder... Oh, God. Oh, man. You just got hit by a meteorite. So, obviously, it had damaged this tent. And one of the ways to figure out what is damaged is just go to building health. And this very quickly will show the things that need to get repaired. So, It's only that one tent, fortunately. Sky is falling. Oh, yes. I'm bleeding, she yells. I know. In fact, I'm going to fire one of the nurses here. We only need one nurse. Uh-oh. This is different. So now we're legitimately under attack by a bunch of rat beetles. This probably happened... Oh, nice. There's 2 metal scraps here. Probably happened because I scouted a little further deeper. So there's an option here where...
Reporting in.
Oh, darn. Where I can hit the alarm bell. So if I signal the alarm, it will sort of send people to shelter. And then the guards that I have, the gate guards and the tower guards, will try to clear out the threat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my workers. I have a lot of plastic, so I'm going to fire some of them on plastic haulers and put them into tower guards and gate guards. Hoping that the tower guards and gate guards alone, me micromanaging it, will help to thwart this raid. And what they're going to try to do, these beetles, is just to destroy whatever they come in contact with. So the best way to do this is to pause, select the individuals that are guarding one at a time, and have them cue an attack on the critters coming in. You do get penalized if you use your alarm. So I don't want to use the alarm unless I absolutely have to. Because if I hit the alarm, it will be an upsetting thing for the comfort of my colonists. They don't like to shelter in place. So, this guard... Where are you going, Alfie? This guard cleared one of the beetles out. And then these beetles can be eaten, too. So now I'm just using my gate guards and my scout tower guards to target the beetles manually, which is a pretty effective way to thwart the threat. Alright, and then this tower here is under attack by 3 beetles, so that tower is going to need some love. And as you can see here, the tents that the beetles are attacking are taking damage. So this is one of those events where, no, where are you going, Mason? This is one of those events where you don't get attacked at your front gate. Not all of the threats come from the front gate. Some of them come from behind, which is why it's helpful to have guard towers behind your base. And right when we get done clearing this beetle threat, I will attend to the specialist who wants to be recruited. Because I think we're going to do this without having to hit the alert signal.
We won the battle.
There we go. All right, let me fire the extra guard. I only really need... let's do 2 gate guards in the front. And then 1 in the guard tower and back. Oh, there's another beetle here. Go for that. So I was very lucky. The scrapper that I'm building is right next to 2 metal sites, which is honestly awesome. Very, very awesome. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of beetles. But I think we should be fine.
We've reached a milestone.
And a new milestone, nature in my backyard. Defeat 10 hostile wild animals. All right. So the new specialist is... all right, so it's a scientist that I would need to pay 900 coins for. I'm going to decline him. We have 2 scientists already. This would be scientist number 3. Let's try to get a different specialist. Because 3 scientists just really not going to be helpful. Keep fighting, Robin. Thank you for tuning in to Surviving the Aftermath, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to all my Patreon patrons and Twitch subscribers for supporting the channel, and also viewers like you. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, everybody.